welcome everyone to the LEC post-game lobby. I'm Sjokz and I'm joined by Tymbi and Inspired. Rogue makes it rather to their very first final. Insane what happened here today. They knock out the reigning champions and keep them from their 5th final in a row. And how, Tymbi, we talked last week. You were so excited. You promised us a show and you gave us one today. What's going through your mind after making it to your final in your very first split?
Well, that's actually crazy. I mean, I thought about it after the games, and like last year at this time, I was chilling in off-season, having like last place in Prime League, like in German League. So right now, being able to actually play in finals and like beating G2, like honestly, it's just something really amazing. I wouldn't believe myself. If someone told me that last year ago, yeah, I would laugh at him, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, you're making other people laugh now because it's fantastic what you've done. You put a smile on all the Rogue fans' faces. Same for you, Inspired. We just talked about how long have you actually been in the league? 4 splits and you make it to your final. And let me just say, you played your heart out this series. It must mean incredibly a lot to you to beat Jankos, to beat G2, and to make it to your first final.
Yeah, I mean, especially because last split we like lost to them in game 5, and it was also like similar situation because the winner was going to the final. It felt very bad to lose to them in that close series, so I took it like a bit more personal this time. That I really need to win because I don't want to feel that sad again. So yeah, it feels great to win this time.
No, absolutely. Let's take a look at some of the replays from the game. There was a lot to say about your play this series, Inspired. We had a telestrator breakdown from Kadril as well, just kind of highlighting it. What do you feel specifically you did well from a jungle perspective in this series?
I think I just play well around camps, because I think in early game you can like get ahead yourself, and then basically if the jungler is ahead, he can snowball the lead into Drakes, into Herald and stuff, because enemy jungle can't fight him because he's already behind from early game. And I think that's mostly what I did this game, in this series. I was just getting ahead early, and then from that we were just snowballing on sides, getting Heralds, Drakes, and then slowly playing for towers.
G2, of course, had a couple of curveballs in the draft here and there. You guys also had some surprises with the Nocturne top. Tymbi, overall, how did you feel about the comps that you played with today?
I think I was not stressed out that much. I was not stressed out that much as I was in like the first Mad Lions game. And also, I think we kind of adapted as well this week to make the comps even more chill. So it felt really good. It felt like I knew what to do, and I was like trying to get as much info for my team as possible, but the useful one, not the one that I did before.
Yeah. Maybe I'll ask Inspired then, because we heard talks of there was too much chatter on the team comms coming into the first week of playoffs. How do you think you all cleaned that up today?
Honestly, for me, it doesn't really matter. In my opinion, even if people are like screaming a lot and stuff like this, I think it's still really fine to play because you can hear what people want to do. And I think if you are good players, you don't really need to communicate that much because you just see the same thing all the time. But definitely it's better to have like clean comms. But for example, team like Mad Lions, they're already in the final, and I think their comms are very stressful as well. When I was watching their voice comms, they're also screaming a lot and like having a lot of fun. So I think you can play with clean comms and also like with talking a lot and having a lot of fun, screaming a lot. But I think it just depends on people, like on the players. And I think most of our team just likes when there is not much screaming, when everyone is like calm and collected in game.
I see. Otherwise, it becomes a bit too confusing. We also have the Kia player of the series, Inspired, with 88% of the votes. I think that is one of the highest percentage of votes on record. And it's just so crazy to me because we talk about you a lot, and we also did, you know, when Rogue was not in the finals or when you weren't winning as much, but saying that you're always very good, that we hear from teams that in scrims you're impeccable, that in the games there's barely anything ever that you do wrong, but it feels like that total recognition has not come yet. From the community or from everyone at the same page. Do you feel like you've taken a step towards showing I'm the best jungler in Europe right now through this series?
And definitely, right, because we won against G2 and
True.
I played very well, so definitely it's a step closer. But I think for a long time I already felt like I'm very good, but we just couldn't really show it that easily. I think meta last year was also a bit harder maybe to show it, because I think now I have very good read on meta and I play better than other junglers with it. So I think it's just easier to show it this year.
Well, fantastic job. Final question maybe about the series for you, Tymbi. We saw you having a lot of rel, and I expected you to have maybe a super crazy pick because you told me last week, I don't know if it was live in the end or not, but you said, I'm not the kind of person who always wants to handshake on the matchup. I want to throw them a curveball if I can. Not that much of that here, but we did see you be incredibly proactive and really help your team to make the plays all over the map, sometimes a bit in enemy territory. Yeah, but how do you feel about that matchup and being able to beat a Rekkles Mickey bot lane?
Well, it's just insane that we actually beat them, and I feel like every game, in at least during the laning phase, we're like trying to put a lot of pressure on them. It felt like they're actually kind of sweating to do stuff and actually help with their jungler to do something with it. Because, I mean, with the champs I had, obviously it was a little bit easier for me to do so, because I think both Rel and Trash can be really aggressive on the lane if you have quite okay matchup. And we're like kind of playing for lane as well with the ADs that we pick. So I felt really great that we could actually pressure in that much. So Inspired could farm a little bit more. Maybe he could steal some camps on the top side when we are on bot side, trying to make them actually come to us and like do something with it. Because I think in most of their games that we played today, I felt like they're just sweating to actually outpush the wave to do something. Maybe first game was a little bit, I think, chill. But yeah, I don't know. It was really nice to play with Hans today, and I think we kind of smurfed it on laning phase. I mean, I was getting caught quite a lot later on, at least in first 2 games. But it is what it is. A little bit choking on stage didn't matter.
But in other games, you then made deciding engages, also in this last one, for instance. So it all balances out. I think you have a lot to be proud of. Let's take a look at the bracket. It is completely unexpected for so many people because we have a guaranteed new LEC champion, the end of an era. We've only ever had Fnatic, G2, and Alliance taking the crown and taking the title here in Europe. And now it's going to be Matter Rogue. Like, it's weird to even see it there, isn't it? But yeah,
for sure. Of course.
It's so weird, but it's so amazing, and it's really all up to you guys. So let's talk a little bit about the finals then. It is so close yet so far, right? It is tomorrow, which is also kind of the disadvantage that you have if you come through the lower bracket, because you need to play immediately tomorrow. Inspired, what are your kind of first thoughts about the Mad Lions matchup tomorrow?
Well, I think we will not be that much exhausted because the series today was not too hard, honestly.
True.
So this thing is fine, but I think we just showed a lot which champs we like to play, so Mad Lions can adapt in draft with it. But other than that, I think there is not much advantage that they got by like having free day today, or basically not having to play another series. But the series against them, I think we played very well. First time we played against them in the early games, and then we just collapsed in the mid/late game. So I think if this time we will just play the games out cleaner, I think we can easily win it.
Okay, I'll pick that up in just a bit. For now, though, before we look ahead more towards tomorrow, we want to highlight a standout performance from the spring season. This player brought a new dimension to his team, and for the 4th time in his career, he's been selected as MVP.
Staggered, never gives him a chance for a break. Rekkles is dashing in, that's going to be the Gale Force. Instantly one-shots the AD carry. The modern-day Houdini Rekkles gets it done. The AD carry gone. But that's Rekkles. He's in the midst of the entire team. He one-shot VGO.
The quickness is from Vanna. Not going to be enough just yet. That's a great step. Louis Wonder's trying to slow everybody down. Look at Rekkles. Rekkles is untouched. Rekkles has got a triple. Rekkles has destroyed Misfits.
Rapid fire auto attack rapid. Oh god!
Quadra-kill.
That one's gonna fall away. TP now coming in, however. Mad Lions setting up for targeting forward. Just stole it! Yes, gonna get the knockback. Jessica's going contested. Magic Field's on the flank with the pushing into the base. G2, they're gonna need TP if they want to come out on top of this one. But Rekkles, now legendary. That shot coming through. Jessica's off to the backside. Mickey buying as much space as he can. The Infernals are not gonna be enough. But still, Astrals are not coming out on top. The front line from G2 is just playing too well. Still, Rekkles. Who gets the Infernal? It's G2.
And welcome back to this side of the studio. Rekkles, thank you so much for joining me. It must feel a bit bittersweet having this interview right now, but this is about celebrating everything you achieved in your career and the fact that this is your 4th MVP title. You are the player in Europe, in the history of Europe, who got the most MVP title. I feel like it says a lot about your career and your achievement. Don't you agree?
I guess in a moment like this, it's hard to feel that way. But to some extent, I guess I'm happy that I managed to still be myself after everything, with the change and everything. It's been a hard, it's been a hard time living up to all the expectations that people have had. So yeah, to some extent, I've just been happy to be able to still show that I'm the same player, the same person.
It's not even the same player or the same person, actually, because you took the biggest risk, leaving Fnatic, joining G2, a team that was performing and will continue on performing. And you said in an interview a couple of weeks back that you needed to give up on this leadership that you had within Fnatic. So I don't agree when you said that you're still the same player, and people recognize that voting for you as an MVP today. So tell me about switching team. We often talked about this, but yeah, this new role that you had within G2 and how it helped you become a better player.
I just don't think I've ever been the guy for my team. I feel like every team needs someone that pulls them together when things are not looking great. And I feel like I fail at this in Fnatic, and I am now failing at this in G2 as well. But at least here, it's not a role that is forced onto me. So I guess the disappointment is not as high from everyone else, but for myself, I still feel the same kind of disappointment. I feel like this is something I just have to fix if I want to be the best. Like, again, it's hard to feel positive in a moment like this, but I feel like if I have to win, I have to be able to be that guy for my team.
You know, just listening to you, I know that it's a hard moment for you, but the simple fact that you kept this drive over the years, you didn't let anyone overcome you. You're still the player, the Western player people want to overcome, look up to. Yeah, that says a lot about your craft and dedication to the game, Rekkles. So what kept you performing so well for so many years? And because I feel like with what happened today, you're never going to give up. You're never going to let that one go, and you're going to come back in summer, combat mode and ready. So yeah, tell me about this drive you had for all these years and how it helped you.
I guess I never really strived for this whole individual MVP thing. I feel like that's just a bonus on the side. For me, it's always been winning, I guess, as much as possible. Preferably Worlds at some point would be awesome. Same for MSI would be super awesome. So for me, it's just always been about winning, yeah, everything. And that's why it's hard for me to like see this as a consolation prize of some sort, because I didn't come into the spring split thinking I want the MVP. I came into the spring split thinking I want to win the split and therefore go to MSI and potentially win MSI. So I don't think my drive necessarily lines up with this whole winning MVP a couple of times, but it's just a bonus on the side. And for me, it's all about making sure, I guess, I make the right steps in my career to be able to get these wins on the board. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, I think I'm not quite there yet where I can basically pull my team with me. And today I think I could have, because I was in a good spot in most of the games, actually. So yeah, a lot of things to work on, I guess, for summer, and hopefully Worlds after that.
You know what? Let's dive a bit deeper into this, because MVP stands for Most Valuable Player, which means that you must be the player who's able to reflect on everything, things that go right and things that also go wrong. So about what happened today, anything that can help you perform better in summer, and what are your learnings from this series?
I think just taking more responsibility within the game. It's always, you know, you have a lot of draft talks and you try to prepare as much as possible for what's about to come, but it's never the same as you predicted it to be. So I think in the games, I just have to manage to be that guy, it's hard to, for me at least, it's hard to explain exactly what I mean with this. But I think just, for example, if I'm good in a game, taking over the shot calling maybe, or telling everyone that it's going to be okay, I can do something later maybe in the game if we're not having a good start. Just being some kind of rock maybe that could be needed in very dire situations. And I think today I wasn't that rock. I feel like I let it slip as well, just as I guess everyone else in the team did. In particular, the longer the games went as well, or the longer the series went as well. Like I think I started off pretty well, or I guess we started off pretty well, and then it just got worse and worse. And I think if by any means I could make that not happen, or like be more solid and maybe have the same sort of outlook on game 4 as we do on game 1, then that could help a lot for these series that always come down to the smallest details.
In the end, a competitive year is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So you'll have all the chances in the world to, I don't know, turn the tide in your direction in summer. And you know what? I want to give you last minutes to just talk to the audience. As you said, this is not a consolation prize. So anything you want to tell the fans who voted for you on what they can expect from you this summer and how you will come back ready?
So I guess people can, well, first of all, I should say thank you for voting for me, and I guess believing in me throughout this whole thing. It's been, as I mentioned earlier, like a really hard change because the expectations are sky high. So I feel like regardless of, like, even if we would have won, I think people would have still maybe been disappointed in some way. So it was basically impossible expectations to live up to. But I guess what people can expect for summer is a better me. I'm not okay with losing ever, and especially in a fashion like this where I actually think like both Mad and Rogue just ran straight over us. They were so much better than we were, and yeah, it feels terrible to be a part of something like that, I guess. So for summer, obviously, I mean, everyone's gonna say this, so it's not super hyped to say that I'm gonna try more or better in summer, but I guess if people know at least that I'm aware that this is not okay, I think that's good enough.
And that's, I mean, that's why you're also one of the most experienced player, one of the best veterans in the league, the fact that you're able to self-reflect on your performance, Rekkles, and that's what will take you far in summer. That's what I hope. At least thank you so much for these moments. And yeah, enjoy your break and looking forward to seeing you soon in summer. And that's all for us now. Back to you, Sjokz.
Thank you very much, Laure. I just want to provide also some insight behind the productional decisions here. We were supposed to give out the MVP at the beginning of the show, but as you know, there was an unforeseen delay. So we graciously, of course, from Rekkles to accept that he could also do this in PGL, and he was willing to talk to us and also navigate it expertly by yourself, Laure. But yeah, Rekkles there saying, yeah, it's really nice to win MVP, but of course he would have liked to win here. And he said Mad and Rogue were just so much better than us and ran over us. Inspired. I mean, this is a player that I guess everyone looks up to, you know, when you're one of the younger generation. So it's bittersweet. Of course, deserves it, but they'll be back strong in summer.
I mean, definitely. Even though they lost today, they are very, very good players with a lot of experience. So I think they will not give up. And next split, it will be even harder probably to win against them because they will be so motivated to this time not lose. So I think they are still very good players.
Yeah, I'm still a bit taken aback by everything that's transpired here today because, you know, as us who work on the league for so many years, this is such a cool thing to see yourself and Mad in the finals. A lot of the new blood coming up through the ERLs this year or the previous years, and that local talent. It's amazing, and it's going to be a great final. Tymbi, let's talk about tomorrow. The Mad Lions, who have looked phenomenal. Maybe not as much in the regular season as you guys. They didn't get into that top 2. But once the best of 5 started, they just played very well. Do you think they're the team that is best suited to the meta right now? Is that where they're doing well? Or why do you think they look so strong?
Well, for sure, the read that they had on the meta was the best out of every team in LEC, that's for sure. And they could play with it, like in first rounds of the playoffs. But yeah, they're playing really well with each other. They know how to play with each other, and they're forcing stuff. They're not scared to do anything. And yeah, if they think that something is good, they'll probably go for it instantly. And yeah, they don't hesitate. So yeah, it's quite crazy. And also the fact that everyone I don't think there is any player in their team that plays bad or something. Maybe some players had like rough times, right? But everyone has it, and they were just trying to fill in like the forms or like the bad plays with good plays. So you can't really see like that they have any like issues or something, like team-wise at least.
That sounds a bit like Rogue to me. It's like you described your own team. Over there, you of course have it Kaiser versus Tymbi. Similar stories also. Kaiser only came into the league recently and is now of course a bit more further on in his career. But this would be huge for the both of you. What do you make of this specific matchup against this extreme playmaking support, something you love to do as well?
I remember Kaiser back when he was playing in Mouse. Oh my God! When I would look at that Swain Pike matchup on the bottom lane, it was quite amazing. And this guy's really insane. I think it's gonna be just a pleasure to play against him and to actually see if I can match him, because he's for sure performing the best out of every support, and he's playing really well with Elioya. So I just want to see how much we can like prevent them from doing it and how much we can play together as a team versus them.
You bring up Elioya there, Inspired. I have to go to you, of course. This guy has just been insane also this split. What do you think of that matchup?
I think Elioya was for sure like, I think me and him were like the best performing junglers for sure. I think he really knows how to play meta champs and what is his like job in the game, which I think is more selfish than Jankos, because Jankos mainly plays for his laners, while Elioya both plays for his laners, but also remembers that he needs to get like farmed himself. So it's harder to play against him, I think. And yeah, I mean, he's definitely for sure very good, very good. So it will be fun series against him.
Final note, because we talked about this off camera, but practice situation is of course a bit different when you're in the lower bracket, right? Because you first have to prepare for G2 and then possibly for MAD. So how was that scrim situation this week, Inspired?
I mean, it was very even. I think both them and us didn't really want to show too many things as well, because we know we're going to play each other. But it was very even, so I can see us going to 5 games tomorrow easily.
Oh, it is music to my ears. I'm going to let you go soon. I'd love to take a selfie now that I have you here in person, and for good luck tomorrow, hopefully. I'll just stay here because socially distanced. There we go. Yay! Wonderful, thank you very much. That is all from us here in Berlin. The night is far from over though. Super stoked. The LCS is finally back in an arena and they're going to be live for their LCS semifinals, so go check that out. And we will be back tomorrow for the LEC Spring Final. MAD versus Rogue. MAD and Rogue now activated. See you tomorrow.
Take on Rogue! Oh, I love it. The flash bear slap after the chem tank. Run, stun, will the job get done? Odo with the Soul Flare and the last auto from Inspired. It's pick on Wonder Day. The Soul Flare inside the pick. The arrow comes out, that catches onto Yagnos. He's gone onto the Ragnarok. Inspired will be the next to fall rooted up, taken down. Wonder holds 3 Rogue members in place, and the deal is done as G2 close it out. Gold God will slow him down, and Rekkles still escapes with his life. Larson and Inspired trying to kill the retreating members of G2. It's a double kill! Teleport coming in, Larson going all the way forward. Dashes, kills Jankos where he stands, and Rogue will take down G2. Oh, here comes the paranoia from way down bottom lane. Inspired puts G2 to sleep. Rogue crush G2 backwards. TP in from Odo gets a lot of damage. Bell comes out. Oh, Tymbi! Tymbi with the Magnet Storm engage. The rest of Rogue are nearby. Hansama stays alive just long enough for the lullaby to put G2 to sleep. Is it past your bedtime? Rogue are split. They've got a fight on 2 fronts. Caps is ignited. He goes back in the shockwave from Larson. Odo gets his first of the game. Caps is trying to get some kills to the backside, but he's down. He's dead. History has been made. Neither Fnatic nor G2 will be in a European final. And for the first time, Rogue will face Mad Lions for the crown.